There we go. And if I'm not mistaken, that should... Yeah, so... I think I did it. Yeah, okay. So I upload that one later. And then I upload this one later as well. And then I won't have to record any reactions. Because then I'm just gonna bop, bop, bop. You know what I'm saying? Might even have part 2s of stuff. So. Okay. We're going to do top 10 most controversial court cases of all time.
That's a win. I said there was a BetMGM win.
How could they possibly...
Oh, real fast chat. When I upload this, because I want to upload this whole live stream I'm doing right now. So when I upload this one, I'm going to put all the links for the videos that I have reacted to into the link as well.
Heard all of that evidence, and in a handful of hours said, not guilty.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 most controversial court cases.
2-year-old Kaylee Anthony has been missing for more than a month, and police are looking for the girl and for answers.
For this list, we're looking at landmark lawsuits and trials from the United States that were surrounded by controversy due to the nature of the case. Is there a famous trial you wholly disagreed with? Let's talk about it in the comments. Number 10, the United States v. Nixon. One of the biggest political scandals in the United States involved former President Richard Nixon. 5 men were arrested after trying to force their way into the Washington, D.C. headquarters of the Democratic National Committee in an attempt to gain leverage for the upcoming election. When the appointed special prosecutor subpoenaed tapes and papers tying Nixon to the crime, he took it to trial.
This principle of confidentiality of presidential
Honestly, I didn't even know
conversations
that.
is at stake in the question of these tapes. I must and I shall oppose any efforts to destroy this principle, which is so vital to the conduct of this great office.
The judge denied the request to quash the subpoena, so Nixon went over his head to the Supreme Court. Nixon's attorney tried several arguments, including executive privilege, to convince the court to not force the delivery of evidence. It failed.
The Supreme Court rules unanimously that President Nixon must turn over subpoenaed material to Watergate prosecutor Jaworski.
Nixon was ordered to turn over everything, which ultimately led to his incrimination and Nixon's eventual resignation.
And so we leave with high hopes, in good spirit.
Number 9, the State v. Norman. When you hear the term self-defense, you typically think of some action being taken to protect yourself in the event of an unwanted attack. But what can be done if you've been subjected to harm repeatedly and chose to act before it happened again? This was the focus of a case in North Carolina involving Judy Norman. After years of reported abuse from her husband, Norman had had enough and shot him while he was sleeping. When charged for her crime, she cited self-defense as her reasoning, given the long history of mental and physical abuse. Judy was ultimately found guilty of voluntary manslaughter because the court ruled that a self-defense claim couldn't be made since the defendant wasn't in imminent fear of serious bodily harm or death.
I don't
Number
think
8,
self-defense works that
Obergefell
way.
v. Hodges. Jim Obergefell and his partner
Definitely does
John
not
Arthur
work
were
that
married
way.
in Maryland, where same-sex marriage is legal. But as they were residents of Ohio, where it is not permitted, the state would not recognize their new marital status. They took it to court,
Wait, what year?
stating that the ban on same-sex marriage was discriminatory. After losing the court battle with the state and the passing of John Arthur in 2013, Obergefell took the case to the Supreme Court. The case illuminated the differing opinions among individuals on who should have the right to marry.
They ask for equal dignity in the eyes of the law.
The court sided with Jim and ordered that all 50 states
we're all
recognize
human.
same-sex marriage in the same way
We
that
all
marriages
bleed
between
red.
spouses of the opposite sex are.
I don't get
Today's
people's
ruling from the
logic.
Supreme
I really
Court
don't.
affirms what millions across this country
I don't.
already know to be true in our hearts.
What are the unique gifts, the charisms
I don't get it.
of a Christian higher education?
Number 7, the state of Tennessee v. John Thomas Scopes, aka the Scopes trial. Nicknamed the Scopes Monkey Trial, this case went to court without any wrongdoing having been done. In 1925, the American Civil Liberties Union wanted to challenge a Tennessee state law that banned the teaching of evolution in school. John Scopes, a local science teacher, agreed to be the defendant, and a trial ensued.
John Scopes, a young teacher of Tennessee, had taught, contrary to state law, Darwin's theory of evolution.
It attracted national attention with its high-profile prosecutor, former Secretary of State William Jennings Bryan, and the controversial subject of creationism versus evolution. The ACLU lost the case and the appeals, but garnered the real win as it triggered a wave of awareness around the teaching of modern science in classrooms.
Although victorious in the courtroom, he and the fundamentalist cause had been destroyed.
Number 6, Bush v. Gore.
So that's how.
During the 2000 U.S. presidential
Science is
election,
like in
George W.
classrooms
Bush
now?
won the state of Florida by less than 2,000
kinda dope.
votes, triggering an automatic recount for certain
I
counties.
did not know
When
that.
the polls finally closed in Florida, the results were just too close to call, which automatically triggered a recount by machine.
Some of them couldn't meet the deadline to submit their new counts, so the Florida Supreme Court ordered a statewide recount. Fearing it would cost him the election, Bush challenged the ruling via the U.S. Supreme Court, hoping to avoid the votes from being tallied again. Gore had already won the popular vote, but both candidates needed to win Florida to become president.
The Supreme Court overturned the Florida Supreme Court decision that allowed manual recounts of ballots.
The case drew national attention as to how votes are counted, the use of punch cards for voting, and of course, who would ultimately become president. The Supreme Court ultimately ruled in Bush's favor, denying Gore any further chance at winning.
Good evening. Just moments ago, I spoke with George W. Bush and congratulated him on becoming the 43rd president.
Honestly, chat, I think we're gonna find a whole nother video like that. I mean, it's interesting, but I want to see. I'm on a video that does have like too much politics and all this other stuff. Top 10 movies about serial killers. Oh, that might be something. Wait, they got a mummy princess, bro? Wait, that was 17 hours ago, too. That's dope. Like, Puffly pre-sold mummy princess. Bro, that's dope. That one.
I wear UFOs because I need to get the most out of my training. Active recovery.
Like that first.
It's a
the little
voicemail
6 minutes that you
unlike
just
anything
did,
you've
I
ever
might
heard
edit that
before.
one out for YouTube.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're looking at 10 people who went missing and left behind creepy recordings.
Yes, I'm in the middle of the field. The We're just cruising some guys over. Right here going towards Javelin on both sides. My truck ran out of gas. There's one car here. Got chasing to the woods. Please hurry.
1 minute, this young man was a grainy image on a surveillance video. The next minute, he was gone. And police are baffled.
So my absolute plea is somebody in the public does know something. They need to give the police that information so that the police have got somewhere to start looking for Corey.
For this list, we'll be examining cases of people who left behind creepy photographs, videos, audio recordings, or appearances on CCTV. Essentially, any documented evidence. Can you think of any other cases of a similar nature? Be sure to let us know in the comments below. Number 10. Lars Mittank. The case of Lars Mittank is as mysterious as it is unnerving. The 28-year-old German man was vacationing in Bulgaria with friends when he got into a physical altercation with some strangers over football. Mitank suffered a ruptured eardrum, which prevented him
Yo,
from
I
flying
think I've
home.
seen this
With his
one.
friends gone, he began to act
think I've seen
erratically.
DJ Ghost
His
react
odd
to this.
behavior was captured on the hotel's CCTV.
Was it DJ
He
Ghost?
reportedly called his mother and told her
It's
that
not
4
this
men were out
video,
to
but,
kill
like,
him.
he reacted to
Mitank was
some
last
with
seen
this.
on CCTV
You know what I
fleeing
mean?
Varna Airport and running
I think
into
it was
a nearby
DJ Ghost.
field. He hasn't been seen or heard from since, and the reason for his sudden
Oh
paranoia
no! Oh, I might
remains
just watch the
unknown.
video.
Number 9,
On it.
Brandon
Just think it
Lawson.
was a
On the
reaction.
night
I
of
don't know.
August 9th, 2013, Brandon Lawson got into an argument with his partner Ledessa Lofton and left home just before midnight. Soon after, he called his brother Kyle, saying that he was being chased out of town and had run out of gas. Kyle worried that his brother, who was involved in drugs, was tripping. But following that, Lawson made an eerie call to 911, saying that he was being chased into the woods.
Yes, I'm in the middle of the field. The Staple just pushed some guys over. Right here going towards Javelin on both sides. My truck ran out of gas. There's one car here that got chased to the woods. Please hurry.
When Kyle and the police arrived on the scene, Brandon's truck was abandoned. Kyle's girlfriend Audrey reportedly received a call from Brandon, who said that he was just up the road and bleeding. However, he was never seen or heard from again. Number 8, Corey McKeague. On September 23, 2016, RAF Regiment gunner Corey McKeague went drinking with some friends in Suffolk, England. At 3:25 the next morning, McKeague was spotted on CCTV entering the cul-de-sac of Brentgobble Street, an area that contained several wheelie bins. He never left the cul-de-sac. McKeague failed to report for work the following Monday, instigating a missing persons case. His phone was eventually tracked to a landfill, and while extensive searches were undertaken, nothing conclusive was found. The prevailing theory is that a drunk McKeague fell asleep inside a wheelie bin and was crushed by a garbage truck. His remains may have been accidentally incinerated at the landfill, but this theory is contested by many, including McKeague's mother.
I never heard that theory about
absolute
that.
plea is somebody in the public does know something. They need to give the police that information
I
so that
never
the
heard
police have
that
got
theory.
somewhere to start looking for Corey.
Something people say a lot these days is, how did we get here?
I don't. I
People
have
say, oh my gosh,
never.
the world is going crazy. And I'm like,
Never
it's got
heard
here
that
because of your
theory.
silence. My name
Number 7, Claudia Lawrence. On the night of March 18, 2009, Lawrence returned home from work and sent a text to a friend at 8:23 p.m. This would be the last time anyone heard from her.
All of a sudden, she wasn't there. It eats into you, literally eats into you all the time. And that's the not knowing what's happened. And it carries on and on and on and on.
CCTV footage was found showing a light-colored Ford Focus driving down the road the morning of March 19th and braking outside Lawrence's house. Despite years of investigation, the case went cold until 2013, when the new Major Crime Unit was unveiled.
It was a good feeling that you had very experienced officers going over the whole thing again.
They found that Lawrence's cell phone was mysteriously turned off the day after her disappearance, and unidentified fingerprints were found in her house.
I think we're encouraged by the fact that something is happening after a rather long period of nothing happening. But the police have got a lot of work to do. They've been doing a lot of work, and that's good news.
Several people have been arrested under suspicion of murder, but a lack of evidence and cooperation from witnesses have prevented any charges from being laid. Number 6, Amber Tuckerow. This 20-year-old woman from Alberta's Mikisew Cree First Nation was last seen just outside Edmonton on August 18, 2010. She got a ride into Edmonton from an unknown male and was never seen again. 2 years after her disappearance, a cell phone recording was released of Tuckerow speaking with the man, and she can be heard adamantly questioning his directions and their true destination.
You better not be taking me anywhere I don't want to go. I want to go into the city. Jeez. Yo, we're not going in the city, are we? No, we're not.
Just 4 days after the recording was released, police found Tuckerow's skull in a farmer's field.
And their search for the voice intensified. RCMP say they've received hundreds of tips, but the identity of the man behind the voice remains a mystery.
The investigative work behind her disappearance has been highly criticized, and the Alberta RCMP even apologized to Tuckerow's family. The apology was fiercely rejected.
I fully acknowledge that in the early days of our investigation into Amber's disappearance, that it required a better sense of urgency and care.
Number 5, Kenny Veach. In 2014, Hiker Kenny Veach left a comment on a YouTube video in which he explained coming across a creepy M-shaped cave in the desert and fleeing in terror.
And something about that cave just spooked me. Out of all the caves I've ever gone in, this one just made my body vibrate.
Eager YouTube commenters encouraged Veach to return and document his experiences. And while he did so, he failed to find the cave. But he did come across an abandoned mine shaft.
It goes way, way, way down in there. Let me see if I can... that's pretty far.
Disappointed viewers urged Veach to try again. He set out once more, never to return. His phone was eventually found outside the very mine shaft that was recorded in his previous video. A woman claiming to be his girlfriend later commented on the video, stating her belief that Veach had committed suicide and left his phone behind so as not to be tracked.
And that is it. So see you later, tortoise.
Number 4. Trevor Deely. On December 7th, 2000.
I don't know about that one. I don't...
22-year-old IT worker Trevor Deely was attending a work Christmas party at a nightclub in Dublin.
So as he left the club, Trevor was in control of himself. The question is, did he come across someone later who was to become instrumental in his disappearance?
Deely left the club at 3:25 in the morning and stopped at work, where he briefly spoke to a mysterious man in black outside the business gates.
So who is he? And is it possible he followed Trevor after this? Even in this grainy state, this footage may hold the key to unlocking the mystery of what happened to Trevor.
At 4:14 after leaving work, Deely was spotted walking home on CCTV footage, with a man in black following roughly 30 seconds behind.
It's this man here I believe we should be focusing on, captured on camera less than 30 seconds after Trevor. Is he the same man Trevor met outside his office minutes earlier?
Police believe this is the same man who spoke to Deely. Unfortunately, that was the last known recording of Deely, and the case has since gone cold. The man remains unidentified, and no one knows what was discussed or why Deely was seemingly followed.
Tonight, the Last Chance Kitchen finale. It's all on the line for these two incredibly talented challengers.
Why am I getting these long
Number
ads
3,
now?
Brian Schaefer. In 2006, Schaefer was a medical student at Ohio State. On the night of March 31st, Schaefer and his friend William Florence went bar hopping to celebrate spring break. Sometime during the night, however, Schaefer disappeared.
1 minute, this young man was a grainy image on a surveillance video. The next minute, he was gone. And police are baffled.
Police reviewed CCTV footage outside the Ugly Tuna Saloona, which showed Schaefer talking with 2 women. He left them and walked towards the bar, but wasn't recorded ever leaving.
We seen Brian go back off the camera and were unable to locate him leaving the building.
Every exit is covered by a camera. Brian is never caught on camera leaving the bar.
This was the only known publicly accessible entrance and exit, leaving investigators puzzled. It's possible that the constantly panning and manually operated cameras just missed him. William Florence has refused to take a lie detector test, leading people close to Schaefer to suspect his involvement. Some believe that Schaefer is dead, while others think he ran off to live under a new identity.
Foul play has never been ruled out, nor has the fact that Brian maybe just took off. The stresses of life, med school, and losing a mother to cancer.
Number 2, Henry McCabe. On the morning of September 7th, 2015, Corinne McCabe received a horrifying voicemail from her husband Henry. It features what sounds like menacing growls and human moaning before a voice is heard saying, "Stop it." Henry McCabe was quickly declared a missing person. The last person to see him alive told investigators that he dropped off McCabe at a convenience store following a night of partying. McCabe remained missing for over 2 months until his body was found in a lake roughly 6 miles from the convenience store. The weird thing is that the medical examiner found no apparent injuries on McCabe's body, leading many to question the source and reasoning for the eerie sounds captured on voicemail.
I try to picture where he was, what it might have been like, what circumstances would have made him sound like that.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1, Chris Kramers and Lisanna Froon. These two young Dutch students set off on a hike in Panama on April 1st, 2014. With them was a dog that belonged to restaurant owners they'd befriended, but the dog returned alone. 10 weeks later, Froon's backpack was discovered by a riverbank with her camera and both women's phones.
Damn.
Both had tried to call emergency services on the first day of the hike. A few days later, Froon's phone died, and someone entered false PIN codes into Kramer's phone. More attempts to call emergency services followed. The digital camera contained photos of their hike, but also 90 flash photos from the pitch-black morning of April 8th, one showing the back of Kramer's head. Sadly, the women's bones were later found scattered along the riverbank. It remains a tragic and baffling mystery to this day.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from Watch Mojo. And be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.
Upload this. I think we're going to do top 10 no more social media posts with disturbing backstories. You guys want to watch this one? Top 20 creepy things caught on live TV. I think we're going to do this one.
There is so much concern by employees.
In the debris, they found a GoPro camera, and what they saw on the video startled them. It showed the pilot and his passenger taking selfie pictures at low altitude.
Welcome to Watch Mojo. And today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 normal social media posts with disturbing backstories.
They were local darlings. I mean, they were the shining star in this town.
The first picture they showed, there was that one
adversity.
Case of.
For this list, we'll be looking at some apparently ordinary posts that have unexpectedly dark explanations.
What's her last name?
Have you seen a social media post with an unexpected backstory? Write about it in the comments. Number 10, walrus attack. Jia Lijun believed he'd made an unusual friend, a walrus at the Shishako Wildlife Park in China. He documented his trip to the park on WeChat, where he referred to the walrus as so strong, so big. Unfortunately, he made a terrible mistake when he entered the walrus's enclosure, turned his back on the huge animal, and attempted to take a selfie. The walrus grabbed him and pulled him into the water. According to staff at the zoo, it may have been acting playfully rather than aggressively. But after a struggle, Jia and a zookeeper who tried to help him were both drowned. Number 9, hitting the hay. Back in 2013, the supermarket company Tesco sent a tweet to its followers that read, "It's sleepy time, so we're off to hit the hay." This seemingly innocuous statement became unexpectedly popular, receiving hundreds of comments and over 2,000 retweets. But not for a positive reason. Only a few days earlier, Tesco had been accused of selling burgers with horse meat in them, an accusation which, unfortunately, turned out to be true.
That's horrible. Like, as a student, so I'm buying the cheaper stuff. So, like, I don't like to have to buy, like, I know it's not made very nicely. The fact it's got horse in it, I was like...
Tesco's ill-timed reference to hitting the hay caused an uproar on Twitter and prompted an apology by the company's spokesperson.
Don't Twitter. For the love of Jesus, just stop.
Number 8, be careful what you retweet. In 2014, one Philip Bradbury made a request to U.S. President Donald Trump on Twitter. He wrote, "My parents who passed away always said you were a big inspiration. Can you please retweet for their memory?" He included a picture of a middle-aged couple. Not one to refuse a fan, Trump obligingly retweeted and became the butt of jokes throughout the UK. It turned out that the parents in the photograph were none other than Fred and Rose West, notorious English serial killers who murdered at least 12 people before they were caught in the 1980s. Everyone should be cautious about retweeting posts from unknown sources, but especially presidents.
It's like, ooh, retweet, ooh, fave.
Wow.
As we're learning the lesson of an open-handed
So
Christianity, here's the
immature,
question.
bro.
Are we
so immature?
Everything.
Number 7. A sinister marriage announcement. When Charlie Carver's Facebook page announced his marriage to Kayla
So
Brown, his
immature.
girlfriend, family and friends were more worried than excited. The day before, both Carver and Brown had mysteriously disappeared, and the fact that Brown had left her dog alone and unattended was suspicious. As days passed, several more Facebook posts appeared, some disturbing, such as news stories about the missing couple and violent messages. Police were able to track the location of Carver's and Brown's cell phones, which had ended up near the property of real estate broker Todd Colehep. There they found Brown tied up in a crate and Carver's body.
I think he knew immediately that he messed up.
Colehep had abducted them both, murdered Carver, and posted the Facebook messages in Carver's name.
This is horrible. I mean, this was a son, a brother, a friend.
Number 6. Appearing innocent isn't enough. When Alan Ruby posted a picture of himself relaxing in a hotel with college roommates, probably no one who saw it guessed that his parents and sister were dead at home. The housekeeper found them the next morning. They had all been shot.
That I was with him, just alone in his room, less than 24 hours after he shot his family. And that I could tell nothing was wrong, that he was completely normal.
In spite of the post on social media, which might have been an attempt to create an alibi, suspicion fell on Ruby pretty quickly. The young college student was a compulsive and extravagant spender, so desperate for money that he had previously stolen his grandmother's credit card. As it turned out, Ruby had murdered his 3 family members in cold blood, believing he would then inherit their money. Number 5. Posting while flying. Amritpal Singh was an amateur pilot who liked to post pictures from the air to social media. While admiring his lovely photos, friends and family members probably never stopped to think about the possible danger to Singh himself. But sadly, it eventually caught up with him.
Units be advised, the parties at Front Range Airport are on their way over to the plane now. They can see it. It is down in a field at this time.
In May of 2014, Singh's plane crashed not far from the Front Range Airport in Colorado. He and his passenger, a friend, were killed in the crash.
The NTSB report stated those in the plane were also using the camera's flash function in the night.
Evidence showed that both of them had been taking pictures and selfies with their phones. Authorities believe that the flashes temporarily blinded Singh, making him lose control of the plane.
All we know is they were flying around just in the area, and deputies report that there was heavy fog in this area this morning.
Those old selfies feel different in retrospect. Number 4. At the Red Lake. In 2017, when travel vlogger Sarah Funk visited the Mitsero Red Lake in Cyprus, she and her partner probably thought the place was creepy enough. A mining company excavated there long ago, then abandoned the site, leaving an acidic crater that fills with red water every winter. Funk posted a video on YouTube of herself at the lake with what appeared to be an old suitcase floating in the water nearby. 2 years later, a Cypriot army captain confessed to murdering several people, putting their bodies in suitcases and throwing them into the Red Lake.
A travel case was pulled from the lake, containing the body of a woman and a block of cement.
So chances are, without realizing it, Funk was near one that day in 2017.
Wow. That's crazy.
Number 3. Off the road.
Hey, what's up, man?
Based on her social media posts,
Hey,
Gabby Petito's travels across the United States with her boyfriend Brian Laundrie seemed idyllic. An aspiring influencer, she documented them hiking, camping, and having fun on the beach. However, all was not as it seemed. Witnesses told police that they saw an altercation between the couple. Police found Petito distraught. About a month later, Laundrie returned to Florida in their van, alone.
The Laundrie family acted with indecency. They acted not as humans. This girl was part of their family.
Not long after, Petito's body was discovered in a national park in Wyoming. Laundrie, the prime suspect, was found dead in a swamp sometime later. He had taken his own life, and in his notebook, he had admitted to killing Petito. Number 2. Dating turned deadly. When Sydney Loof didn't come to work one day in November of 2017, concerned friends and family contacted the police. Investigators saw that her last post to social media had been a selfie with the caption, "Ready for my date." She had been in contact with a woman on Tinder named Audrey. They also found that her phone had pinged at an apartment near Lincoln, Nebraska. However, the apartment's residents, Bailey Boswell and Aubrey Trail, had disappeared. The couple posted videos on social media claiming they didn't know what happened to Loof, but had fled because the police were after them. After Loof's remains were discovered not long afterward, both were convicted of first-degree murder.
Trail said he panicked and they disposed of Loof's body in the rural Clay County field when it was light out.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1, a scam, an escape, and a murder.
Damn.
Our top pick is one of the most disturbing stories in social media history.
So did you kill your mom?
No, sir.
Did you help?
No, sir.
Dee Dee Blanchard had a joint Facebook account with her daughter, Gypsy Rose, where she would post asking for donations. Rose was apparently suffering from leukemia, muscular dystrophy, and other ailments.
I'm going to Children's Mercy Hospital to see my dentist.
As it turned out, however, Dee Dee had been lying to doctors and friends for years. Rose had no serious medical conditions and had been confined to the house and forbidden to speak to anyone. When Rose was 20, she met a sympathetic young man online, and they hatched a plan to murder her mother. Once it was done, Rose announced the fact on their Facebook page. Although Rose is now in prison, she says she feels freer than before.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from Watch Mojo, and be sure.
Yeah, that is true. I was wondering why you ain't coming up, bro. Wait, top 10 fate worse than death in video? Huh. Let's see this.
Hello guys, so I am vlogging today, obviously.
The bad news is, the information they got could well be all this.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 extreme cases of stolen identity from famous people.
Let's see who got their identity
stolen. Yeah, well, we had a situation that was not cool.
For this list, we'll be looking at times actors, politicians, musicians, TV personalities, or even CEOs had their identity stolen for nefarious reasons. Which of these entries was most shocking to you? Let us know in the comments. If you like what you're hearing, be sure to check out the full song at the link below. Number 10, 50 Cent and Carmelo Anthony did get $1 out of these celebrities. Back in 2013, the Connecticut Financial Crimes Task Force, United States Secret Service, and Hartford Police Department all joined forces to arrest Jonathan Preston and Lumi Nunez. They'd obtained their victims' personal information from the internet, got their credit card details, and spent more than $500,000 in their names. The couple spent it on diamonds, multiple vehicles, gambling, and even hired a limousine to drive from Hartford to Ohio. They were living at large while 50 Cent, then New York Knicks star Carmelo Anthony, and others were footing the bill. The couple was charged with various counts of fraud and sentenced to roughly 3 years prison time. Number 9, Jennifer Aniston, Anne Hathaway, and others. When you're at the spa, you just want to relax, and that's apparently how they get you when you're at your most vulnerable. Beautician Maria Gabriela Perez was described as the, quote, leading esthetician in the beauty care world, and served many A-list stars. On the website for her salon were photos signed by celebrities she worked with, all praising her work. so it's surprising that she decided to use their credit card information to falsely charge them over $500,000. Jennifer Aniston, Anne Hathaway, Liv Tyler, and Melanie Griffith were all victims of this betrayal of trust. Perez was sentenced to 5 years probation and 3,000 hours of community service.
So there's no way you can get away with that.
No, you can't. You thought you'd stop paying the money, but it turns out that you and a lot of other people...
No.
Number 8. Mark Zuckerberg.
Let the hacking begin.
It's ironic that a CEO accused of profiting from private data had his data hacked into. In 2012, a post came from Mark Zuckerberg's Twitter boasting about someone's ability to get into his account. It seemed that Zuckerberg had a simplistic password that he just so happened to share on LinkedIn, which recently had over 160 million accounts hacked.
The hacker group posted a tweet claiming credit for accessing the accounts on Sunday. The group, whose main Twitter account has since been suspended, messaged Zuckerberg to say that they had found his password on a LinkedIn database of user details leaked last month.
Zuckerberg wasn't the only one, as the hacker group Our Mine followed up by targeting celebrities like Channing Tatum and even Google CEO Sundar Pichai. The reason behind these public attacks was allegedly to advertise their services. While they didn't do anything malicious, it's a stark reminder that your information can be easily obtained online.
So they didn't do anything.
Please welcome to All Elite Wrestling from Dublin, California.
I don't get it.
Number 7. Jean-Yves Le Drian. It's one thing when a celebrity gets impersonated, it's another when government officials are. For 2 years in the mid-2010s, CEOs and government officials were contacted by someone posing as French Defense Minister Jean-Yves Le Drian. These wealthy victims were asked to help pay supposed ransoms for journalists being held hostage in the Middle East.
He asked me for several €100,000, and I replied, I don't have that kind of money.
Je n'ai pas cette somme.
The crooks called 150 people and succeeded 3 times.
France systemically doesn't pay those ransoms, so the impersonator asked for funds to be wired to a Chinese bank account. Phone calls were the first stage, which were followed up with video calls wherein an impersonator wore a Le Drian mask. The scammers stole an estimated 80 million euros, but 2 of them were extradited to France from Ukraine.
Bruh.
Number 6. Oprah Winfrey, Steven Spielberg, and others. Being on Forbes' The 400 Richest People in America can be an honor, but it also makes you a target. Steven Spielberg, Warren Buffett, Ted Turner, Oprah Winfrey, and many more fell victim to this incredibly adventurous case of identity fraud. 32-year-old busboy Abraham Abdallah used the Forbes list in 2001 to target wealthy individuals and steal millions of dollars. He scribbled all the essential details into his copy of the magazine and picked up equipment to make phony credit cards. But he got a bit too greedy. The NYPD caught on to him after he tried to transfer $10 million from an account with Merrill Lynch, causing a cascade of investigations and eventually resulting in his arrest. Number 5. LifeLock CEO Todd Davis. This one is incredibly apropos because the victim challenged people to try and steal his identity. LifeLock is a company that specializes in identity theft protection.
That's my real social security number.
Is he serious?
You're nuts, man.
Can you believe this?
So to prove how effective they are, CEO Todd Davis put his social security number on the front page of their websites. What do you think happened next? Yeah, he got his identity stolen. 13 times. Several accounts were opened up in his name, racking up thousands of dollars in debt.
And I'm guessing that the defense for the people who took it was, I didn't steal his identity, I literally got it off the back of a truck.
Of course, given that his company was meant to prevent this from happening, it wasn't the best look. LifeLock was subsequently fined $12 million by the Federal Trade Commission for deceptive advertising, but that was only the start of it.
Protect yourself, your family, and all you've worked for. Guarantee your good name now.
Number 4. Tiger Woods. This court case showed people not to mess with Tiger. Using Woods' given name, birth date, and stolen social security number, Anthony Lamar Taylor acquired an official driver's license. He then used this to open up credit cards and buy a used luxury car, 70-inch TV, and stereos, raking up $17,000 in charges.
Because Taylor used the name Eldrick and not Tiger on his ID cards,
Most salespeople never made the connection.
But he got caught and was swiftly taken to court in 2000. There, he was given a 200 years to life sentence in prison. His lawyer argued that the court used Wood's celebrity status to justify such a brutal sentence. However, the court cited Taylor's many other misdemeanors and felony crimes over the past 17 years. Number 3. Kim Kardashian, Michelle Obama, and others. If you're gonna steal, you might as well aim high.
Kim, it sounds like you might be having a little bit of a hard time just figuring it out. Do you need some help?
And it doesn't get much higher than Kim Kardashian, Michelle Obama, Beyonce, and countless other celebrities. Personal and financial information for all of these famous people was released onto the web. This information was used by 19-year-old Luis Flores Jr. to change social security numbers on Kardashian's accounts and order replacement cards to his address. He was sentenced to 42 months in federal prison, while his mother got 3 years probation for lying to investigators.
Wow.
Tonight, the Last Chance Kitchen finale. It's all on the line for these two incredibly talented challengers.
That's crazy.
Number 2. Bill Gates. Once again, we see that going after bigger targets yields unwanted attention. Former Microsoft CEO Bill Gates, for instance, has been the victim of more identity thefts than you'd expect. In 2004, a Bulgarian student known as Alexei K issued a fake credit card under his name as part of an international forgery crime operation. But that wouldn't be the only time Gates was compromised, as he was also included in the leak from our previous entry. Even as recently as 2020, Gates, alongside other prominent celebrities on Twitter, had his account hacked to promote a Bitcoin scam.
If they can hack Elon Musk and Bill Gates, some of the most technologically savvy people on the planet, we know that there's others who are very important whose tweets and their words matter. If they are co-opted and hacked, there's much bigger implications than some Bitcoins being tossed around on the internet.
Maybe it's time we all turned on that two-factor authentication.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1. Will Smith. This wasn't the first time Will got robbed. Remember that Fresh Prince of Bel-Air episode?
Carlton, please, look, the man is innocent. Trust me.
In 2002, Carlos Lomax got his hands on Smith's social security number and a copy of his credit report. Using this information, he opened up countless accounts with credit companies and banks, all under Willard C. Smith, the actor's birth name. He had run up over $30,000 in debt until he was arrested and sentenced to over 3 years prison time. This wasn't his first rodeo either, having impersonated basketball player Steve Smith, no relation to Will, in 1999. When it all was said and done, Lomax had been ordered to repay over $500,000.
I can't breathe.
Do you agree with our picks? Let us know in the comments. And hey, if you're a fan of the song playing right now, be sure to check out the...
Okay. Let's see, what else should we watch? You guys got anything to react to? Because I think I did yeah, I think that's enough. Because I'm gonna hop off here, get some more food and whatnot. So, if you guys did like this, you know what I'm saying, be sure to... Why is my shit not cooperating with me? No, if you guys did like this though, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, share with a friend, family member. You know what I'm saying? Help me get out there. You know what I'm saying? I'll be live tomorrow. I'm gonna upload both of these. Both of the live streams I did today, and then bada bing, bada boom. So I will see you guys in the next one. Everyone stay safe, stay positive, you know what I mean? Watch out for your loved ones, make sure you know what I'm saying, all that good stuff. I will catch you guys later.